am Terrence with the Revenos team. I manage EXPressoffers. Before we get started in today, I have some slides that we'll go over, but just really quick, we'll touch on, this is like a program overview, right? This is one of the most significant things that we have going on as a brokerage is the EXPressoffers platform, because it kind of gets 50% of the transaction done for you already. And I'll explain kind of what I mean as we go through. So thank you all for joining us and giving me the opportunity to share the information with you. If you have any questions while we're going through, you can use the chat. Definitely will keep my eyes there, but feel free to raise your hand and stop in the middle of the presentation. I'd love to get your questions answered while you have them, because I know things can kind of slip your mind as we go through. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So yeah, we're going to go through. This is the EXPressoffers program overview. What we'll touch on first is this is not a certification. This is just, again, program overview of how EXPressoffers works, kind of where we're at. I think it's really cool to know. I've been here for quite some time, and EXPressoffers is going through a lot of great changes. So I'll talk about some of that as we go through. What we're going to talk about today is, first, I want to give you guys like a high view over level of Revenos. I think that this is one of the most underutilized aspects of EXP. This is super powerful in terms of just having resources that are going to keep you in business. It's really hard to find like good referral partners. And so EXP did a great job of putting together a division that focuses specifically on those referrals. So we'll go through a Revenos high level introduction to EXPressoffers, kind of what's new, the features and benefits, how it works, how to get support, and then also leave some additional time for Q&A. So Revenos is EXP's referral engine. It's made up of several different divisions that specialize in buyer and seller lead opportunities. Each of the different divisions is kind of allows you as an agent to go in and niche down to that specific line of business. What's really cool is all of the certifications besides one is free. So it allows you to kind of get that basic information to go do-it-yourself approach to learn how to get the business. And as you continue to build yourself up, build your platform and recognition up in that niche, then you qualify for more of the referral opportunities coming from that division. We all kind of run independently. Everybody's got their own program looking for, agents, specific type of agents within their program. So you'll definitely want to get in tune with any of those divisions specifically to learn kind of what the criteria is for the agents that they look for. But certification for each of them is definitely first step. So talked about it again, it's buyer and seller referral engine. You can see all the different business lines that we have. You see EXPressoffers. One thing that's to note is the institutional investment services is probably the second newest thing on here. I think Bundle Select may have came out after institutional investment services, but institutional investment services has a lot of overlap with EXPressoffers. And that's because when you see IIS, as how we like to shorten it up, it really is, think of it as like a suite of services for an investor, right? So whether that investor is selling their properties or they're looking to buy more, it's a service of all the different things that an investor may need. So as far as overlap, EXPressoffers, we'll get into kind of what exactly it is, but just know that obviously we work with investor buyers, and this is a great way for them to work on their acquisition. So lots of overlap between our two divisions. In fact, I actually report to the director of the IIS is the same, my director as well. So I'll also kind of go over brief who he is. Here are all the different divisions. So you have relocation, you have Infinity, Bundle Select, military, Make It Rain, institutional investment services, EXPressoffers, and REO. Again, those last three, I didn't touch on the REO, but those last three are very, very, a lot of overlap between those three. So I can tell you, like, when I'm looking for agents to give out leads and referrals, I ask, are you IIS certified? Are you REO certified? Because it just helps me to know that you've gotten the information to kind of best convert the opportunities that come through on our end. So look at these different divisions. I'll make sure you guys have access to these slides. Stay till the end because you'll be asked to give feedback on our training. Once you do the feedback, it'll take you directly to our slides for you to have them for a later time. So keep that in mind. Again, just kind of think when you're going through these different programs is how you can lap them together so that you are really building yourself up in one specific niche per se. When you get these slides, we all have our own workplace community. So by scanning these different QR codes, it'll take you right to the workplace community. Check the pin post of each place because it's going to give you the most up-to-date information of what's happening in those programs and kind of what the things you need to know getting started in the different programs. Okay, guy on the left, that's Mark Woodling. Mark has a deep background in working with institutions, institutions being large investors. And he also has a background in auctions. So he has been working kind of in this space with investors, with motivated sellers for quite a while. I'm on the right. I'm the manager of EXPressoffers. A little cool story about me is I'm actually an agent turned corporate guy over since last August. My background in real estate is probably more as an investor than it is an agent. And so when I came over to EXP in 2017, EXPressoffers was very new. And one of the things that attracted me to EXPressoffers right off the gate as an investor was to figure out, what did I need to do as an investor to qualify to be on this platform? At that point in time, just, based off the requirements that were in place, my company didn't qualify. So through the certification, I found out another opportunity to bring value and work within this ecosystem by bringing on different investor buyers. So I started there. I brought on and attracted an investor to the platform, and long and behold, they actually end up being the most active buyer on the platform. And I'll kind of get into what's cool about that when we get a little further through. But I had an opportunity I raised my hand, right? There was opportunity to where leadership decided that we wanted to do something a little different with the EXPressoffers. And I just said, hey, yeah, I would definitely be interested in this as an investor who loves this kind of niche and space of business. So I'm here to support you guys on the EXPressoffers side. How many of you, and you can put this in the chat, how many of you are EXPressoffers certified or know about EXPressoffers already? Like, who is familiar or is this brand new to? Okay, so EXPressoffers is unique in the sense that this is a proprietary platform that EXP Realty owns. So I'm going to introduce to you guys a partner relationship. Many of you may know we integrated with Open Door, but as we get through it and someone says, hey, well, why should I use EXPressoffers over Open Door, going there directly myself? It's because you own this platform. As an EXP agent, this is a proprietary business that EXP Realty owns. So when you use this platform and you support this platform, you support yourself. We're all stockholders and shareholders. So think about that as you're trying to find reasons to use the platform. But what it is it's a marketplace that connects our agents to investors that buy as is, for your sellers to remove a lot of the hassle of selling a house, right? So no staging, no fixing up, no showings, right? Just a kind of clean way for them to get an offer and get some information on value for their home. So what do sellers get with EXPressoffers? Sellers are going to get the speed, control, convenience, and certainty. So I like to kind of mix speed and control up as one, right? Because depending on who the seller is, speed just may not be something that is advantageous to them, right? You talk to someone who's in a distressed situation and you say, hey, we can close in 30 days. That may scare them, right? So speed is one thing, but then the control, if they do need special accommodations, we have buyers on the platform that will do leasebacks. We have Open Door that will sometimes do up to 90 days. It's just so many different situations to where the seller is ultimately in control of their desk. The convenience part, no staging, no repairs, no cleanings, no showings. That's kind of a lot of, when you think about who's converting on the platform, which sellers are actually going through and securing contracts on our platform, a lot of them is for that convenience aspect. Maybe they're in a situation, maybe they have things going on to where they have decided that the convenience of skipping all those things were worth the difference in what they got on their offer. And then also the certainty, right? So when you're dealing with an as-is buyer and not having to worry about traditional financing, some of that red tape that we've all experienced, right? Just knowing how those inspections can be appraisals, right? All those things are eliminated because you're dealing with a buyer who's buying as is and is buying based off of asset-based lending per se. So it's based off of the value that they can potentially sell the house for versus what they're buying it. And so it just removes a lot of red tape from the actual transaction process. What do you get as an agent? So you're going to get something that's efficient, flexible, or allow you to have flexibility in terms of your marketing. The different sellers, we actually are preparing a new campaign that really talks about every listing for every agent should see a cash offer. My background is in car sales, automotive sales. And so what I can tell you is you just never know, right? You never know what a seller will what their triggers are. Sometimes they hold things really close to themselves. So you want to put this option in front of every single seller, whether they're just a traditional seller or they're somebody you met that's going through a distressed situation. Either which way, it gives you the flexibility to talk to all sellers, right? Reliability. So because you are working with these cash buyers and are using cash or buying as is, using asset-based lending, again, moving a lot of the red tape to allow your deal to get from A to Z a lot quicker. And lastly is that marketability. So I talked about that, right? Is you being able to have different conversations with different homeowners. I personally think, again, that every homeowner should see and evaluate the convenience of a cash offer. You just, again, never know. And I just think it's a great way to, and I think you're also better off leading with this value prop as opposed to responding with it, right? And when you respond with it, a lot of times the seller's already cut you out where you could be most valuable. If you are showing up and waiting for them to mention a cash offer, that means they've already gone down this path. And the investor or whoever that end buyer is, they may be a little bit more hesitant to work with you because they see you as another chef in the kitchen that can potentially make a deal a little bit harder. So try to lead with it as opposed to respond. And I think that's a huge point. What's cool about Express Offers is this chart is from Realtor.com. And it just talks about in 2023, kind of some of the expectations that different sellers had in the market. So Express Offers is going to allow you to essentially show up and meet the sellers on 3 expectations that, again, they already have. So one is they expect to have a cash offer within a week. We're being able to give sellers either cash offers with Open Door within 1 minute of submission, or we have other buyers on the platform that really should be giving you an offer within 48 hours. If you don't hear something back in 48 hours, you should assume that it's a pass. But you also will have them expect to have buyers that forego contingencies, right? So like these cash offers, these as-is offers, they remove a lot of contingencies as part of the transaction process. So again, being able to meet the seller with having meet those expectations that they have. Now, for those different conveniences and certainties, there may be a price adjustment, right? There may be some expectation to have these conveniences where they need to, consider. So that's another thing to think about. But then expect an all cash offer. So again, using Express Offers, you're able to hit on all 3 of these, and you can kind of see the percentages of sellers, right? You're looking at all these hovering around just over 30% of sellers are expecting these things. So how nice would it be to show up knowing that, hey, I'm going to meet this seller on 3 of the 5 things that they're looking for, I have already in my tool belt. This is Shauna King. We like to highlight Shauna because she is an agent who really embodies what I think Express Offers should be. She leans in with this value prop. She makes sure that she presents it to every seller every time, because you can see her quote here is, it's a first step. We never know who will be attracted to the cash offer. And that's really just what I think I've built my mantra on. As an investor, I'm somebody who says, hey, I really am not looking at a seller's price. I'm just going to make a price that works for me. And so never know who's attracted to that. Some of the deals that we have closed, in fact, the last deal that I closed on the MLS was listed at 119. I purchased it for 67,000, just wanting to make an offer. So never know who's going to accept. And so she stands out by leading with that as a value prop. Or maybe you're like Sanjay, right? Sanjay, I would say, is a more traditional agent dealing with buyers and sellers in a traditional fashion. But there was an opportunity for him to use and leverage Express Offers when his seller was going through financial distress. So we were able to use Express Offers to get a closing quickly, help that seller save a bunch of money, retain a bunch of their equity, not going through the foreclosure process. So that was huge for him. Here's some stats. Data is always really cool. This is based off of our integration with Open Door on February 27th. Since then, and this data may be a week or so old. I try to get in there and update it every week, but so maybe it's a couple of days. It'll get updated again on Monday. But just over 2,200 submissions. Of those submissions, we've been able to give over 1,000 offers, preliminary offers, and then from there, 310 final offers. So that means either Open Door or the other buyers from the marketplace have gotten out to the property, seen it, and made a final offer. From there, 29 of those have been accepted. We've closed 16. But I think what's really key, right, for us as agents to think about is 129 of those properties since that 27th have been listed and sold on the MLS. So we realize and understand that the cash offer is really step one, right? It's really in a long process. It's really just letter A, right? We want to get these cash offers. We want to leverage them for their information. One of the things I think about with cash offers is like, this is the new CMA, right? This is the new value that we can give to a seller. Why? Because the value is not coming from us, right? How many times have you walked into a seller's house and been hesitant to give your opinion of value because you don't want to offend that seller? You don't want us to have them upset with you because your value is different from theirs. What this does is allow you to set the low end of the range because it's an as-is condition. Now you can take this range, this as-is offer, and really help the seller kind of see, hey, yeah, this is low end. If we want to get to this high end, then here are the things that we need to address before we do that. And so leverage this cash offer really as like the bottom end of your range, as opposed to saying, hey, this is the actual value of the home. So what's new? Some of you are already certified. So what you may have noticed is your dashboard is starting to change, right? The look and feel of the platform is starting to change. Why? Is because with the integration with Opendoor, we're just wanting to create a more aligned experience. That what that means is just kind of removing some of the gunk that was there before, right? Some of the stuff that was like not really important. And so going to this table view cleans up your dashboard. You also now have the ability to delete the unwanted drafts that allow the conversions from Opendoor to the EXPressoffers marketplace a lot easier as well. So I think this is why a lot of people are interested in EXPressoffers right now. Is on February 27th, we launched an integration with Opendoor that brought Opendoor into our platform as a buyer. I've been around EXPressoffers long enough to remember when we looked at Opendoor as the competitor, right? We looked at Opendoor as saying, hey, how do we compete? How is our value stronger than what Opendoor is? And I think our leadership really did a great job in terms of just asking the right questions and diving deep to figure out how can we align with Opendoor as opposed to make them look like a competitor. If you've already been certified, then you probably have heard the term iBuyer a few times, right? That training is really saturated with the term iBuyer. Really almost makes you feel that every investor is an iBuyer. And so one of the things that we did is really redefine what that iBuyer means. For us, it's not institutional buyer, it's not investor buyer, but it's instant buyer, right? This means that the entity who is an iBuyer is using technology to give us the feedback that we need, right? So it's not a manual process where someone's going in saying, hey, what are the comps? What are the rents around here? What is the ARV? Here's what we can offer. They're using the tech to be able to get you that feedback in record time. Again, they kind of bragged on a training that they can get you an offer within 10 seconds. I haven't tested that, but that's kind of their claim. So why did we align with Opendoor? I think this is just as important as anything that we'll talk about. But when you look at Opendoor, when you look at the size that they are, right, the markets that they cover so many different markets to where our agents are, was number one. Number two, when you look at the strength of their offer in comparison to what other investors were paying, strength of offer was also really high. And then when you look at the fact that in the midst of COVID and chaos, when so many investors were canceling contracts, were leaving sellers high and dry, when you look at their actual close rate of the contracts that they wrote, they closed more than any investor. So we looked at them and saying, hey, all things considered, they can get us offers faster, they can be more reliable and cover more markets. Why should we not put this opportunity in front of our agents? And so that's how we got here. And again, I think our leadership did a really good job, rethinking how we think of Opendoor and just dealing with buyers in general, investor buyers in general. So some of the must-know information about this, especially if you're certified, is Opendoor has a first right of refusal in our platform. So what it means is you are going to submit a property and we're going to use technology right away to assess whether or not that house fits an Opendoor market. They haven't done like the other buyers in terms of giving us a visual buy box. We use technology for that. So where the submission process becomes so much more important, because that's the only way you'll know if the home fits in an Opendoor market is by submitting the property. You should still secure your commissions from the seller. We don't represent Opendoor. And so you should still, get the seller to agree to pay your commission. One of the ways you do this is Opendoor is giving you a preliminary offer and a preliminary offer range. I would most recommend to use the range, right, the high and low number to figure out if the seller is interested in moving forward. Before giving them any information about who the buyer is, any fees associated, I would share the range first. From there, if they're interested, I then would do a listing agreement, and your listing agreement is going to be based off of your local rules and regulations. So you can all kind of use your knowledge there to know which agreements you're going to use and at what point in time you're going to use them. But definitely secure your commission from the seller. It is nice that in sometimes if you present the property off market and there's not an active offer, Opendoor actually will contribute 1% to your commission. And if you've already got your commission settled with the seller, now you're going back and delivering even more good news with the offer that you're bringing them, right? So it's, hey, they're offering this. And on top of that, they're willing to pay an additional 1%, meaning I can charge you, and this is up to you, right, to your business. But you do definitely want to disclose if you are getting any extra commission, but it allows you to be dynamic with the seller to say, hey, Open Door is contributing this 1%. So now I can charge you X% or whatever the case may be. But definitely you want to be transparent, disclose that, but leverage that in your favor. And again, try to secure your commissions before even going down that path. Talked about this is we will not represent Open Door. This is something that's different with all of the other buyers on the platform. So when it should also answer the question of whether or not you can submit a property that's not your listing, that's on the MLS. Because we don't have the ability to represent Open Door on an MLS listed property, the answer to that question is no. So you may still be able to submit to Open Door, like from our platform. But if you get an offer on an MLS listed property, you need to have that offer, you need to have it rejected or withdrawn so that you can move it on to the other buyers in our platform. In order to convert submissions to other buyers, to have access to other buyers, you will need to be certified to have that as an experience. So if you're not already certified, get certified so you can have access to those additional buyers. Some of the key differences with express offers when it's not Open Door. So I'll talk about when it's express offers versus when it's express offers and Open Door. First, on the express offer side, you do need your disclosure to seller's agreement. This is found in the download section for you as a certified agent. You will also need the sky slope email prior to your submission. So we want you to go in and create a transaction and share that sky slope email in your submission. You also need your compensation agreement. The reason why, and I think I want to stop right here and go a little bit deeper. The reason why this is important is because of our process. When you look at the process for Open Door versus express offers, we're sharing a lot of information on the express offers experience. So main thing is like the pictures, right? So you're essentially advertising, marketing this property. So you want to make sure that you have your compensation agreements and listing agreements in place so that you're not in any violation of your local MLS guidelines. Stay tuned because we are going through a major revamp that again is to bring synergy between the submission process. So, but know that today you need to have those things in order to submit to express offers. For both of them, they both are great options for as is offers. They're both preferably off-market properties. You will abide by your local MLS rules and regulations, and then both are to have you secure your commission or compensation from the seller. With Open Door, we do not represent Open Door. You do not need to be certified, and you won't need any of those additional documents to submit your property. Some of the do's and don'ts, the rules of engagement. So do submit every property to express offers before going to market. One, your offers are just going to be a lot stronger because the property's off market. But two, the buyers haven't, or the investors haven't gotten a chance to come up with any, preconceived connotations about the price of your seller's house. When the house is sitting on the market and the listing price is what it is, the investors are sitting to themselves saying, hey, it can't possibly be worth what they're asking because it's still available. So just keep that in mind. With Open Door, do not present simultaneous cash offers next to Open Door. We still want to provide choice and options for the seller. So when you think Open Door, think of options, and it's mentioned on that fourth bullet, but think about options like Curbio in comparison, and think about maybe an open MLS option as a comparison, right? You still give your seller options, but it allows Open Door's offers to kind of not be compared to other cash offers. Also, you want to make sure that you always use the net sheet to present your offers, right? This is so important in conversion because how many times have your sellers focused so much on the sales price as opposed to the net amount, right? So make sure you're always using the net sheets to really convey the story and help the sellers make a true informed decision. Next, don't bypass express offers by submitting to Open Door directly. This is the designated import flow that both Open Door and EXP kind of have agreed upon. And again, as you use express offers, you are supporting a business that your company owns. So it helps you and helps the whole company when you use express offers. Then make sure that you report any complaints that you run into with our platform from the consumers. We want to make sure that we can support you and give you the right guidance when any of those things occur. Best practices. So always secure a written agreement to safeguard your commission before presenting offers. Again, I think that you just need to make the distinction between an offer range and then the actual offer. The offer range is your friend, is to help you secure that agreement, help to have that seller interested in going further down the process. And so use that to secure your commissions before presenting any of the offer information. Talked about the net sheet, but huge one, just make sure you're always using net sheets to communicate all of the fees. What's different and significant is Opendoor's, fee, transaction fee, or whatever they call it, is going to apply with any offer. So you'll want to make sure that you use the net sheet, because when the seller may turn it down, or whatever the case may be, when you compare it to maybe you got a second offer in within Express Offers, you'll notice some of those fees won't be there. So again, just important to use the net sheets to communicate, what the actual net amount is. And then make sure that all submissions to Opendoor are happening through the Express Offers platform. This is Ellen Poole. Ellen has a really cool story, right? Ellen, she had just come over to EXP, I want to say in like maybe September of last year. We had launched we had announced our integration with Opendoor and came up with like this half-baked solution to give our agents access to this tool. And Ellen actually closed our first transaction with Opendoor. And I think what was significant about that is, one, she had worked with Opendoor in the past as an agent by herself. And then two, what was cool about her story is she actually came over to EXP specifically for our cash offer platform. For her, it was, how do I find a brokerage that's helping me stand out in the marketplace with different technology? And a lot of brokerages have tried it, but if you look around, a lot of them are either using white label services or not even offering this up as a brokerage anymore. So nice that she actually was drawn into this. But one of the things that she said was the support that she got in dealing with Opendoor from our team, right? So whatever the questions may be, any drop in communication, she was able to come to Express Offers, who has that direct connect with Opendoor, to have that needle pushed a little bit further. So one way we stood out for her was that additional support. Okay, so Express Offers and Opendoor for agents. This is super significant as well. So when leadership was thinking about the way to partner or integrate with Opendoor, we wanted to make sure that you, the agent, did not lose any benefit, right? We wanted to make sure that it still was aligned for you in terms of just overall experience. So all of the rewards that Opendoor offers as part of their agents partner program, you still have the ability to earn all of those rewards. We talked again about the dedicated EXP support, and then just to kind of beat it down was that rapid response and that market access. So they're in a lot of markets and they're giving us responses back really, really fast. Not going to go through this in depth, but it does this slide is to highlight their program and how you earn rewards. Essentially, the reward system is paying you or incentivizing you to do volume with Opendoor. So when you get to that fifth transaction, you can see that 500 points there. They're paying an additional $5,000 for that transaction. And then for the next couple, they're paying an additional $1,000. So when you get these slides, go through that. And then, there's a link on this slide to where you can go directly to their site and learn a little bit more information. So how it works, you head over to app.expressoffers.com. You can go ahead and click submit property, answer just a few initial questions about the home, and then you'll receive the preliminary offer. You'll meet with your client, and from there, decide whether or not you're going to represent or refer them to Opendoor. I could say, in our experience or through Express Offers, we have not had anyone yet refer a client to Opendoor. So everyone has been representing, but just know if you do run into those situations where seller is a hard no, they don't want representation, then know that you can also refer to Opendoor. And a lot of times with Opendoor still paying that additional 1% to you. So once you do that, you'll click through. Once you get that offer, click through and go to the Opendoor website. It's going to ask you if you're going to refer or represent. Again, you're most likely going to be representing. From there, you'll upload the photos of the home, any disclosures, answer a couple of additional questions, and then Opendoor is going to schedule a time convenient to your seller for them to come out and do an evaluation on the home. This evaluation really is just to confirm the details that were given in the initial process, but then also to adjust their offer based off of any findings at that visit. Once they have that evaluation, you'll receive a final offer, net proceeds. You'll select the closing date. If you have flexible up to 90 days for closing, and then Up to 9 months, I think, is also significant when you're working with homeowners buying new build homes. So I think that's also significant. Can close and get paid, and they do have a late checkout up to 17 days after close, and then 3 days of those can be for free. Here's the workflow. So it goes through Express Offers. From there, we're assessing whether or not it fits Open Door. You can get the property information from Open Door, and then you'll decide once you get that offer, hey, this offer works for my seller. We want to move forward, or my seller at this point in time is going to reject the offer and I want to go to Express Offers. Either which way, it's going to go to Open Door first. You will have some type of response to Open Door, or they give you a response that the home doesn't fit their criteria and it goes to the general marketplace. For support, Open Door did create a unique email and support staff for just our EXP agents. So hello@opendoor is a great place to go. And agentpartner@opendoor.com is also another email for Open Door. Every offer is followed up by the AEP, or the agent experience partner. Those are specific to your actual submission, so they can change from property to property. They are your direct contact for that offer. So if you need to reject it, or if you need to give more information, if you need to change the time of the visit, that is the person who you'll communicate specifically on that submission. In all of these emails of support, just know that for normal urgency, normal emails, it can take up to 3 business days. And then on high urgency things, it take up to 1 business days to get a response. So again, to request an offer, you go to app.expressoffers.com, sign in with your Okta details, and just submit a property. You should bookmark that if you won't remember it, but it is pretty simple, app.expressoffers.com. What you'll want to do from here, if you're not already, is go ahead and get fully certified. Join our workplace community. Lots of great questions are answered there. Join the Specialist Hub. I'll go a little bit deeper on the Specialist Hub. So the Hub is where I collect data on the agents that are certified. What this does is help me to best assign the different opportunities or different leads that come through. We have motivated seller leads from different lead generation relationships that we have. We also generate our own leads with expressoffers.com. So the Specialist Hub helps me to know a little bit more about you, so I can send you leads that actually make sense and have a high chance of converting for you. That's a great place to connect with me, because after you fill it out, prompts you to take a discovery call on my calendar, and we can go through like strategy, for the do-it-yourself type of things, or we can answer all the questions about the leads and what have you. So fill out that Specialist Hub, and then the knowledge base. So knowledge base is just a place where you can go to where a lot of questions are going to be answered. I'd say between the knowledge base and workplace, there is probably not one question that you have that hasn't been asked and answered. So really leverage those resources to get additional information. And then you can always contact me on workplace or through email. Full certification. So what's nice about this is, again, you do have additional buyers that will come to your access to your tool belt as being certified. New different marketing materials specific to Express Offers and cash offers as is offers. You do become eligible to receive our leads, and then the incentive opportunity. So if you go back early in the story when I told you, hey, I brought an investor onto the platform, we charge a $2,400 platform fee for every transaction a buyer completes on the platform. And so as the agent that referred them, we pay 1/3 of the $2,400 as a referral to that referring agent. So this buyer, when I found them, they were in maybe at the time 28 markets. And my thought was, how can I just get this buyer to do one transaction in all of the markets that they're in? What information, what knowledge can I share with agents in these specific places to help them do deals? So the incentive is really strong when you are someone who really excels with finding off-market properties, because you can recreate yourself in a sense of teaching others how to bring those opportunities to the platform. So definitely get certified if you're not already. I mentioned earlier that our platform is going through a huge shift. And so the certification, we're starting to look at it a little bit differently. And I think it will be in the benefit for everyone in terms of the do-it-yourself aspect, right? Not just having access to the platform, but how do you use it to go and get deals? How am I going to leverage this to my best advantage, not just looking for leads, but how can I create my own leads with this platform? So stay tuned for that. I kind of gave the heads up on this slide is the new training is coming, new collaboration opportunities, and more leads. Lead generation companies, definitely we have our sights on, a couple of those to bring in more just motivated seller leads what's unique about EXP, right, is we are the largest independent brokerage. And so when you deal with these large lead providers who are spending thousands of dollars on generating leads because of some of the, let's call it red tape from like legal and the government, it makes it for them to work with our brokerage. They have to put all the different brokerages that they're planning on sending the information of the clients to, or who they're sending the information about the clients to, right? So if you're not an independent brokerage, let's say like that KW, right? They have to put each office on their website for where they would want to send leads to. When you do that, that messes up conversion. So when you look at EXP as being one brokerage, it's a lot easier to work with one brokerage that has a national network of agents. So just know that more lead opportunities are coming on that front. And then also because of the nature of the Express Offers business being about off-market properties, acquisitions, there's more opportunities that are coming down the pipeline too. If you excel in off-market properties, you excel at finding these opportunities, we're going to be able to link you up with some buyers who have specific acquisition goals in specific markets. So stay tuned for that. And if you want our slides, you'll have to fill out this form. I'm going to drop this link in the chat. While I do that, if you have any questions, go ahead and write them in the chat or feel free to start raising your hands and I can answer any questions you have. But that's the end of this presentation. I'm sorry if I was a little fast. I know we don't have a lot of time, but I feel like questions is like the best way for you guys to get what you need out of it.
You did great, Terrence. Thank you so much. I have a question.
I was going to say, I couldn't have been that good.
I have a question. I'm certified, but I haven't, full disclosure here, I haven't actually used the program. And of course, the first thing that comes to mind is if I recall correctly, I find the property and I'm old school. So if it meets the buy box, right, then I get an offer. I take it back to the seller, okay, we have a deal and everything is cooking. It gets rehabbed by Wedgwood and then we put it back on the market and I get to list it at a reduced listing fee.
Sometimes there are buyers that do that, right? Sometimes there are buyers that will relist the properties. Not every buyer is going to do that. And one thing you should also be thinking about is from a risk perspective as an agent, you just want to be careful with that, right? Because you are being hired to represent the interest of the seller. It could be dicey for them to come back and say, hey, they wanted me to go with this buyer because they're going to relist the property with them. So just keep that in mind. Know that you really are going out submitting properties of sellers who need this option or sellers who you want to leverage this information. Whether or not it'll be the right solution for them, don't know, but you leverage this as a tool that way and not necessarily what the back end looks like.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so maybe I didn't do that good because there should be questions, right? Here's one question that I would ask is, Terrence, if I want to get started finding people to get offers today, what would you recommend me do to start? Is that a fair question? Okay, so that being said, I would take a multi-pronged approach. I would say, who are the people that are most likely to convert with this value prop, right? Speed, convenience, certainty, and control. For me, automatically, I think of distressed homeowners, right? I see pre-foreclosures, I see tax liens, tax delinquency, code violations, tired landlords. All those people are people who I see could use this value prop from day one. So I would, if you don't have a source of property information, you'll want to write this one down. It's free. I would use propwire.com, PROPWIRE.com. For anyone who follows the investor space, this platform was created by Jerry Norton. Jerry Norton's a huge thank you. Yep. Jerry Norton's huge investor personality influencer. And so this site is really, their whole value prop is to try to get you to skip trace with their platform. So they give you the data and say, hey, we want you to come get the contact information of the people that you find. But this platform is going to allow you to go and kind of set up different searches or filter different searches by location and then by motivation, right? So is it a probate home? Is it a pre-foreclosure? Is it tired landlord, right? You have all these different things you can click off of, and I would get the list. And depending on how you're set up, we're not all set up to do like volume dialing. I know a lot of people don't really necessarily like to cold call, but if you're going to maybe do them one off, then you could use a site like truepeoplesearch.com to skip trace, right? So I have an address, I'm able to see who the owner is, and now I'm going to use True People Search to go in and find the contact. You'll probably also want to leverage Dial Safe, which is a tool from EXP to go and check whether or not the number, the contact information is in the do not call list. So between those three resources, you have everything you need to start having conversations with different homeowners. I would also say, so those distressed I put those all in one bucket. Another bucket is very simple, right? Is for sale by owners. The reason why this is so significant is because what's the number one thing that a for sale by owner says to you when you call it? I know somebody has this answer for me, right?
I don't want to pay your commission.
Okay, that's one thing. But there's another question that is like, they always ask it. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Why
okay.
are you going to different, or what are you going to do different?
Do you have a buyer? I'm a for sale by owner. That's the question, right? I see you have your house on 123 Main Street. Oh yeah, I see it. Do you have a buyer? And a lot of times we as agents, we like get stuck. We say, oh, well, I work with tons of buyers and I'm going to market your house and I'm going to, right? Every agent says that. Everybody's saying that. But how different is the conversation if the answer to that question is yes, right? Hey, Mr. Sherrill, actually, I do. And I set up your house, came up on this search, and I was just wondering if it's still available. Yeah, it's still available. Okay, great. If I were to get you an offer that could close in, I don't know, 15 to 30 days, would that pose a problem for you? No. Okay, great. The next logical step would be for me to come by and see your house. Just need to see if it would make sense for one of my buyers. Now I've opened the door, I've stepped through, and I'm meeting the seller exactly with what they want. They don't know at this point in time that what they're asking for is not what they want. You are wanting top dollar on your home, and you are taking a garage sale approach. If you showed up at a garage sale right now, would you pay top dollar for anything that you saw there? There's nothing at a garage sale, right, that I'd pay top dollar for, because in my opinion, you weren't looking for top dollar. You were just looking for convenience. You were looking to do this at an easy, convenient way. No marketing, no this, no that. So I'm not thinking I'm going to pay you top dollar. And you probably know you're not going to get top dollar, even though you may ask for it, right? And so one thing I want you guys to take away as agents is don't get too wrapped up in what a seller says their price is. Everybody wants the most. That's one thing that I'll say, like investors and homeowners, they don't know, but they're very similar, right? They're very, very similar. They're both looking for top dollar a lot of times. But I need to go ahead and meet the seller where they're at, this particular seller, FSBO, and use this information to show them why they're not going to get what they're going to get. You're taking a garage sale approach. And so with that approach, you're going to get offers from different investors. Hey, Mr. Show, well, hey, how's it going over at 123 Main? Oh, it's going great. I'm getting a ton of traffic. Great. Are you getting calls from agents, or are they buyers? Or, oh, they're buyers. Oh, well, I've seen you've been on the market for 30 days. Have you gotten any offers? Yeah, I've gotten a ton of offers, but they're all low. Why? Because they're not marketing to the end buyer, right? That the person who's willing to pay the most, who could see that property as something that they want to pay top dollar because they need the house, is probably not going to be found at a yard sale. Probably have to go and market it, recondition it, right? How many of you have traded in a car recently? Okay, maybe it's not recently. How many of you have traded in a car ever? Do you feel like the dealership gave you the most amount of money, or could you maybe have sold that car on your own and got a little bit more? But you would have had to. It wasn't convenient, right? You were able to go to the dealership, you traded in, you gave them your keys, you walked out with a new one. So they've made that process convenient. Also, as the seller, you weren't going to recondition that car the same way that your 2014 Honda wasn't going to look the same way that the 2014 Honda on the dealership, right? They were going to look different. They're going to be marketed different. They're going to be in different conditions, right? So if I want to get top dollar, there's just certain things that I have to be willing to do versus if I want the convenience. And you as the agent, you're now able to go in with all of that information. Say, hey, if you don't want to do anything, if you want the convenience of not doing anything, we could take this offer right now. Or I'm in a market where Curbio is, right? So, hey, Mr. Seller, you don't want this? What if I was able to help you, no money up front, put $30,000, $40,000 into this home, sell it for this, and net you this? The seller now has two different options to say, hey, yes, I want the convenience, or no, I want the top dollar, right? But they have that as an option, and you've leveraged the cash offer as a way to help tell that story to where you're not really offending them, right? Because it's not your number. You're just explaining what the number is and why it is what it is. I would say for sale by owners, and that same strategy, that same thought process also works with expireds, right? You have an expired listing, same thing. Hey, I saw your house came off the market. So sorry that I wasn't able to get you an offer. If I was able to bring you an offer that could close in the next 15 to 30 days, would you consider it? It's just a way to have conversation, and you're dangling something that if I want to sell, I'm looking for someone who wants to buy. You're coming to the table with 50% of the transaction already done. You've already got the buyer. You've already found someone who is willing, able, and ready to make a real offer to buy that property. It may not be the right buyer, but you can use and extrapolate all the motivation, all the conversations that you had in regards to this scenario to push them down a progressive journey to where you are that expert to help them get the home sold. Did we get who feels good about strategy? You got some strategy to go out, make some calls, submit some properties. Okay, I hope we can get at least one submission from all of you in the next week. That would make me feel really good. Go out, set up your searches, pull the data. One thing I did with FSBOs is really cool because if you're certified, then you have the buy boxes. Go to Zillow, set up a search, move it all the way over to only owner with those details of the buy boxes set up, and set up alerts for each of those for sale by owners, right? So as your search, gets new stuff that fits that buy box, you're going into every homeowner saying, hey, I have a buyer for this. Can I come out to the property and take a look? And you're in the door. And I think we all do better in person. So leverage those strategies and let me know how I can help you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Terrence. And I know earlier you said, I just want to confirm, if we ever need to get in touch with you, can reach out on Workplace, right? That's the best place?
Or by email. Workplace is probably a lot more, a lot faster and more convenient. It's on my phone. I don't go anywhere without it. So definitely Workplace is a great place.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it and your time. And you guys, we will get this recording out to you as soon as we can, okay? Thank you all. Happy Friday.